I mean, try out the other decks. They're very, very different from each other. The one
Yeah,
you will have the hardest with is the Jeskai Strikers.
that's what I heard. That's what
No,
people keep saying.
if you just look through it, it has very few permanents. It has sorceries and instants. So the whole point of that deck is put your big permanent in play and then use all the instants and sorceries to synergize with the effect of that permanent. With Elsha of the monk, the commander, it creates monks based on how you attack, but it also has prowess. Prowess means it grows based on the amount of spells you've cast this turn. So it's a very different play style. I think you will have the hardest time with it because it's not something that any of the decks you've played so far do. The one you will find very boring is the Abzan armor because it doesn't attack until you have key pieces in play. It might actually lend itself to what you usually do in board games, but it doesn't seem impactful until you have one or two pieces together and then it just pops, right? It
Yeah,
just does the thing. And that's the part I'm not playing. I'm playing the other part of it, which is the life gain and then do other stuff, which comes in that deck. The Soul Tie will also be a new experience for you because it plays with the graveyard. It wants things in the graveyard. It wants you to sacrifice things and mill things and then get them back. Right? So it's a very different approach. Yeah, so but they're worth trying out, right? So because it is very different play styles, even though the colors, there's an overlap in many of these, but the
yeah.
idea behind them is very different. I think the one that will either not appeal to you or will be very difficult for you is the Jeskai Strikers. But try it out. But dragons are fun.
It's kind of interesting because I heard that the like you played the absent armor without the armor part. Because when I was looking it up and I was watching gameplay and stuff, people said overall that Sultai Arisen is actually like one of the top contenders in the game. So I'm kind of curious about that one.
Well, look through it and play some solitaire with it if you would, just to see like you draw a card and then you just play a couple of rounds with yourself
Yeah,
and see let's see what it does.
yeah,
Because it has. I actually took a couple of the cards out of that deck to put in here,
I see.
like the Will of the Sultai.
Uh-huh.
I put it in here, and the dragon that comes in it. That whenever a creature goes from your library to your graveyard, you can put one of the creatures that you put into your graveyard onto the battlefield. I had that guy in hand. I didn't have the mana to make an impactful play. So yes, there are some very, very good cards in that deck, and even out of the box, it's very good. But I like to build, right? So I took parts of them and put them in here based on some other ideas I had. So, but out of the box, yeah, I mean this one I really like as a concept, and I know what I would change. I would put more ramp in there, so you would be able to play more spells, except for one per turn. Yeah, take some of the less impactful things out. Make sure that you have enough ramp to get to be able to play Ureni or to play more spells for Eshki, right? Eshki wants to play more spells, and Ureni wants to play.
Big
He wants to
dragons.
attack big dragons. Yeah, so it's a slightly different. It's the same idea, but with a different ceiling, if you would, right? So,
Yeah, yeah.
but the important part
Well,
is it's fun, right? So,
well, it's kind of interesting. I think like before yeah, okay, first I want to say this was a lot of fun. And I'm very glad that, I ultimately decided on your recommendation to play with the other commander just to see. I'll be really honest, it feels very similar because it's very powerful. Like both of them are very powerful. Like you can, in both cases, you get to do a very powerful action. It's just that with Eshki, you get to do it sooner and you do it more often. So, and it feels actually, in the sense, in the way it's powering, it feels very similar to your Green Stompy, where it's like every dragon I read, it feels more powerful. It's like, it's kind of nuts. Like you're almost like, and without having really looked at it or played it, it's like, oh, this is very cool discovery. Oh, look at this cool dragon. Oh, look at this cool dragon. It's fun like that. So that's very interesting. Um, Yeah, so that was really cool to do. And I never really much thought about dragons before. Like I think I played in my Helena and Alana deck that we played a little while back. There's that Dragon Master Mage or something in there, which lets me have like a 6/6 red dragon or something like that, right? And I'm like, wow, these dragons are
Outcast.
really powerful, right? So outcast, yeah. But so like this is quite interesting, and it feels, kind of OP. It's interesting because it makes me almost yearn for the opposite now. Like, you know what I mean? Because it feels almost like, yeah, I can beat someone with big things, but now it kind of makes you wonder, oh, how about if I really just have little squirrels, like tiny squirrels, little acorns being thrown at people's feet? And, that the sheer idea of just like, yeah, I'm going to have little critters from like Everdell fight some zombies from Duskmorn. That's just really cool. It's a really interesting
Yeah,
thing.
you can do that. I mean, it's out there. I mean, I have a deck that's purely flyers that are 1 or 2 power. But the
Yeah,
thing is, they come down every turn, right? One, two, three, five of them a turn, right? So it changes because then you'll anyways, yeah, you should try it, right? So and if you're looking at for small things, and then RKO out of nowhere, then you want to try the Jeskai Strikers
yeah.
because
That's
it does
definitely very
create
interesting.
multiple
I mean,
one-ones.
yeah. Well, I mean, it's definitely very interesting to do. Well, I wanted to tell you, how like earlier I said when I picked this up, I also went out and I went to was it Family Dollar, Dollar General? It was a Family Dollar, I think. And they had a few of this March of the Machine decks left over, and I got 3 decks for $5, which was like weird because normally they're $5 each. I think the guy was they were like just trying to get rid of them or something. Like we're not getting Magic anymore. And so in that, I got was it here? Let me see. I got 3 cards. So on average, one out of each deck, which was kind of crazy. Um, one was Sword of Feast and Famine,
Oh no, God, you opened one boost. Okay, yes, it's an awesome card. You
right?
lucky bastard.
And then in another one was Elesh Norn Grand Cenobite.
Yeah.
And then the third one was Itali Primal Conqueror. So it was really odd because
You're
it,
luckier than me. God damn it.
it's kind of crazy because you see these packs are everywhere, and you see people like opening up stuff. Like they buy a whole booster box and all that stuff. But this is like March of the Machines. It was like anyway. I one time. I mean, I bought was it Winds of Eldraine, Forests of Eldraine there, and it's all crap.
Files.
There was nothing in it at all. Like I just. But then it was just cool because I just picked those up because he's like, "Oh, you want these 3?" And that was just so nifty because I'm like, oh my gosh. And the thing is, I don't know anything about these until I put them into Mana Box. Then it suddenly goes like, whoa, what the heck? And then it's just kind of amazing because each one of these cards, covers the cost of all 3 of those decks by themselves. So that's really nuts. So
Yes.
it's just a nifty, I don't know. Anyway, so I wasn't doing it to show off. I was just like, man, look at this. This is pretty freaking cool. And I haven't yet been able to like use them because I was like, okay, I purchased these dragon decks, right? So, but I was thinking like this would be an interesting thing to like form something around because the Elesh Norn that seems like an interesting one to use as a commander. Vigilance and other creatures you control get +2/+2. Creatures your opponent controls get -2/-2. I mean that's crazy.
You had great fortune in opening those 3 packs. And actually in Commander, the most difficult to play and pull off consistently is a Tali.
Yeah, that's what I read.
Very, very good. It's I mean, the Sword of Feast and Famine is insane. You attack with the equipped creature, and then they discard a card, you untap all your lands. You get essentially a second turn, right? Because you use all your mana to do things, then you attack and hit someone with it, and you get to untap. It's insanely good. And on top of that, you get protection from black and from green.
Yeah.
So it means it can't be blocked, it can't be interacted with black and green. So it's an insanely good card. Elish Noin is not being used as a commander. She's being used as a utility piece.
Uh-huh.
What you mentioned before, that you would want to try to play with like small critters,
Uh-huh.
and you put her in a deck where you play just soldier tokens or whatever that are 1/1s, but you create 15 of them, and then you play her. Now they're 3/3s. So that you can use her as a commander, yes, but then people will expect it and be prepared for it, right? So like whenever you play her, counter spell or destroy her, exile her. Doesn't mean it's impossible, and it might be a fun experience for you to build around. Just because people will be expecting it doesn't mean they can really do anything about it all the time.
Mm.
So these are very good cards. Great on you that you got what the leftovers, right? So you got the
Yeah.
leftovers and they were impactful. And that's it's something I missed from opening boosters. You asked what I got in my collectors. I got a couple I got one mythic card in it, which is Tygam. And it's very good. And I put it in another deck. It's not meant for that deck, but I tried them out. So I was decently lucky. Out of 4 collector booster pamphlets, I got 1 good card, which is way above the norm.
It says Taigam. You still there?
Tygam something opportunist.
Oh, okay. Taigam, Master Opportunist.
Yeah, that's the one I
Okay.
got.
Oh, that's cool. Human Monk, yeah?
Yeah. Second spell you cast gets copied and then suspended. It's essentially you cast your second spell, then you exile it. You still resolve a copy of it, and then after 4 upkeeps, it gets cast again without paying its mana cost. So it's something that either you manipulate these counters from the suspend that it gets, or every couple of turns you have value. Right, so you already spent it once. You got to resolve the spell, but then you get to cast it again in your upkeep without paying for it. So it's a really good card. It does require a little bit more of a thinking machine, right? So to actually make that work, it's a slow game if you don't manipulate those counters, but you can. There are cards that allow you to. But yeah, so I'm glad you opened that, and yeah, I can think. I mean, that sort of feast and famine, it would go great in your Igra deck, actually, because it makes your cat bigger. It gives it protection from 2 colors. It gives you another way to use your mana, right? So, and you can put it on any of the creatures, right? So it's not a bad thing. But it doesn't have to go into any specific deck. It's an artifact that's colorless, so it's allowed in any deck. And in any deck where you want to do something with creatures attacking, you can put it in there. You will get value out of it. So it's definitely great to have more resources than you're supposed to, right?
Yeah.
If you
That's
can combine
cool.
that with, like, for example, that dragon that says you don't lose mana as steps and phases end, right?
Yeah.
The one that you discarded. If you, for example, put the sword on one of your dragons, right? Then you tap all your mana to have 4 green, 2 red, 1 blue, just in your mana pool sitting there. Then you attack, your dragon hits, you untap all your mana. You didn't lose the mana because the step ended. Now you can tap again. You all of a sudden can make a bigger play for twice the mana in the same turn because you didn't lose the mana from using if you didn't use it for something, right? So
Yeah.
there are ways, there are other green creatures that say something, or there's a multicolored Omnath, Locust of All, that says that all your unspent mana turns into black mana.
Yeah. Well,
Why? I mean, if you don't lose it, it just stays black and it never goes away.
yeah. No, that's pretty crazy, this kind of stuff. I mean, you know what I find interesting is that when I first kind of like always looked at it, because it's so overwhelming. Like all of this is like so overwhelming. It's all these different things in it, right? And it actually doesn't start being fun until you actually know, okay, rare, mythic, legendary. You really need, I mean, at least for me, I don't know if it's true for everyone, but I kind of need to know more about it before I can really like it. And so I really do think actually that the way to enter it is really challenging unless you have someone like I have you to play with, unless you actually have someone who's willing to, like, help you on the horse. because all these different products, they are like, I mean, it's like nuts what you can do with it. And I mean, I only basically like, I started like building kind of like my own deck, but really I'm playing the precons at this point with very few changes, right? So there's that. That's very cool.
But you enter at a good time because they're consistently making a good quality pre-constructed decks. Right now you're just playing them out of the box. You're not making any changes, only to the ones that you build from the foundation starter box. And that's I mean, you have to start somewhere. But the quality of these pre-constructed decks, I mean, you saw it here, right? So the games we played today, sure, you had to mulligan, but one, you didn't really know what to mulligan for, right? You had never played the deck. You didn't really understand what it was looking for. Now, the second time around, you did one mulligan. Sure, you could say, well, I drew a better hand. Sure, that's possible, but also you already had a slight idea of like what you're looking for, what you're wanting to do.
Right.
So yeah, it's always good to more, at the least, understand the tagline of what it is you're doing. The game has a high barrier for entry, but with these pre-constructed commander decks, commander is something where you can just buy one thing and participate.
Yeah.
Which is
That's
different
really
from
cool.
any of the other formats currently. They did have pre-constructed standard decks before. They were not usually very competitive. They were not very good. They didn't really allow you to play and win. They allowed you to play, but not really be impactful. Now with Commander, they're making decks where you actually just sleeve them up and sit down, and you will play and you have the potential to win. Will it compete at every level? No. But with like-minded people that are playing the game for the interaction, for fun, and big splashy plays, which is not always my case. I do play in some. My group is a little slightly more hardcore. At some people more than others, but yeah, even there, I would take these pre-constructed decks out of the box and still be able to participate effectively with the commander decks since, oh, I want to say, I mean, slightly before Lord of the Rings, when they really started to make really good ones. The last ones that were really iffy were probably Streets of New Capenna, and that's now 3 years ago now. Since then, they've made consistently good products with good value in it, good playability, thematic, the theme of it, and even the mana bases have improved to a point where, like, yeah, you don't need to, but that's the first part where you would start to push the power of the deck is improving the mana base and how to get there. But that's always been the case, but it's now less necessary than it used to be.
Yeah. Well, it's really interesting, and I really enjoyed this was like a big purchase for me too, this whole like thing with the decks, right? But I really enjoyed it, especially also I didn't think that I was gonna enjoy the collector sampler because typically, yeah, what do you get? But so I drew the same card 3 times, I think, which is actually that red dragon that also has an omen in it. I drew that 3 times. So I was like, oh great, these are all the same. But then I got this one in one of them, and I was like, "Oh, this is pretty cool."
No, you didn't.
Yes, I
Oh,
did.
no.
I was like, "Oh, wow, this is nifty!" Like the Call of the Spirit Dragons was in it, and I was just like, "Wow," you know?
You're a lucky bastard, you know that? I mean, in regards to Magic, that's like insane. Like the few things you purchased and the things you're able to do with them and find, it's
Yeah.
insane, my man.
It seems pretty crazy. So I mean, I don't know, but it's like so I got so the thing is many of them are repeats. I got that one 2 times, and I got several other really low level repeats like 5 cents and stuff. But I got um the one I just showed you. What is it? The Call of the Spirit Dragons, and then I got Nature's Rhythm, and Nature's Rhythm is search your library for a creature card with mana value X or less, put it onto the battlefield, then shuffle, and harmonize with X for 4 green.
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
And then I got Hoarding Broodlord, which is a yeah, so it's costs you 8 mana, so 5 and then three black. Convoke flying, and when Hoarding Broodlord enters the battlefield, search your library for a card, exile it face down, Then shuffle for as long as that card remains exiled, you may play it. Spells you cast from exile have convoked, so that's a 7/6. And then I got Windcrack Siege.
Oh, nice. You got a siege.
Yeah,
A red, white one?
it's the red-white one, yeah.
Yeah.
So that was
Nice.
really cool. That was nifty. It's kind of funny because I have I mean, I got the foundation stuff, and then I actually the what is it called, March of the Machines and stuff, and so there's a lot of bulk, right? There's always a lot of bulk and stuff. You just you don't put it in decks or anything, so it's really cool when you can. I don't know. Every once in a while, you pick up a pack, and then anyway, like this March of the Machines 3 thing, that was just like it was such a lucky thing because each one's like, and you don't know it when you first look. It's like, oh, it's a cool treatment. What I do is I scan them in, and once I scan them in, I'm like, oh wow.
Oh yeah, I mean, but just even without what's in it, right? It's a three for the price of one, and that's hard to pass up, right? So
It
it's
is.
just one of those things like, yeah, and it is a difficult hobby to maintain and everything, but from time to time you just go to a Dollar General or a Family Dollar, whatever it was, and then you just see something there that's on clearance because they just want to get it out of there, and then you get, even if you're unlucky, you still got three things for the price of one, and then it's like, nah, it's not so bad, right?
Yeah, and
So
like the reality is, even if all the cards is like 5 cents or whatever, let's say you pull all like 5 cent, 2 cent cards, right? Let's say they're all 5 cents or on average, right? So you get what, depending on what it is, I think the March of the Machines had 12 cards in them, I think. So it was so let's say it's 5 cents per card. So times 12, so you had like what is it? So we had 50 cents, 60 cents, right? So that's not great value if you pay 4.60 if you pay $5, right? So but every once in a while you draw that big one, then it's fun again. So
yeah.
anyway, I'm like really wanting to play all of these. So I'm really sorry you didn't get that last one, but I'm glad we got to play it today. That looks like it was something.
Yeah, I mean, there's a chance. There's a chance that I'll still get it, but right now I'm happy with the purchase I made. I have new cards. I have new stuff to play with. That was the one that I recommended to you, and I just knew from looking at it that that will be, out of the box a good experience.
Yeah.
I'm glad you got all five of them. So even if you paid slightly higher than MSRP, but it's like now if we play between 1 and 3 games per session, then and you can try one for the next 5 or 4 weeks, right? So that's
Yeah. No, I'm
and it's
looking
all
forward
new
to it.
experiences. Yeah.